Okay, so Sonic Rush. The first thing we got to talk about is the soundtrack. And let me just start by saying I absolutely love it. I was just on Sam's stream and am going to be later today. It's happening right now. So look at when this was uploaded. But anyway, so literally every level, every song, minus the cutscene tracks. But it's impossible for at least one person to not be singing the song or like humming along to it because there's not exactly intelligible lyrics, but we gotta shout out the composer, right? And I don't want to I mean, Naganuma, like we just need to praise their style. However, I need to mention it's their unique style, right? All of their songs have that unique sound. And so as a Sonic fan, I'm just saying that leaves Blaze with this weird lack of sound. Like, naturally so, out of respect for him, they don't want to emulate that same sound, so they kind of stay away from it. But in the same way that all the characters have a nice genre of music in Sonic Adventure 2, for example, it's unfortunate that Blaze isn't able to have that come back because Naganuma's not with the team anymore. You know what I mean? So I love the soundtrack, but it's mostly about Naganuma, not really about Sonic Rush, so I'm conflicted on it. Okay, so now we gotta talk about the story. The story in Sonic Rush is one of my favorite stories of all, but I think that's really, it's not so much because the writing is anything spectacular. In fact, it feels like they kind of rushed through it. No pun intended. But it's really, Blaze carries, and also Sonic, but Blaze mostly, because Blaze is the new character here. And we'll have a whole other episode talking about Blaze, because Blaze is one of my favorite characters. However, it felt like Blaze had potential to be in the main cast because Blaze was going through a similar arc to Tails, right? Except Tails didn't have a problem with trusting, but Blaze did. Tails needed to build confidence. Blaze has the confidence, but has problems trusting other people. So it's really interesting to see somebody who's really capable, who this problem is technically theirs, because I believe it was Eggman Negative that started this whole plot. So Blaze is right in the story that it is her problem, and it's not technically Sonic's business, but Sonic's also right because his world is at stake too, and Blaze should learn how to let people in and bear the burden, because this is clearly a problem she can't face on her own. She literally needs Sonic's help when the end of the story kind of starts to wrap up. So it's a good lesson to let people in, and it's something that we haven't really seen from Sonic at this point. So it's, I think, why people really remember Blaze as a character. So, okay, we're gonna get a little negative here, okay? We're gonna talk about the level design. Okay, so I think in this era in general, you gotta consider the era, right? Because I think the appetite for gamers at the time, for lack of a better title for them, the audience, the appetite for difficulty was different, right? And Sonic in particular has a challenge with difficulty, which will come up constantly in the videos I make here, but especially when you kind of are trying to sell this like rush kind of gimmick, right? Sonic's boosting through everything and you can blast through enemies now. That's the new gimmick, right? Sonic is faster than ever before. However, the screen's really small on the DS, and their gimmick is to allow Sonic to have access, or Blaze, to have access to an entire other screen, but that would actually be more beneficial on 2 monitors like I have right now, or many people have. I'd be really interested to see a fan game that kind of does like Sonic Rush 3, and it's like dual monitors, and maybe like Tails is there for Sonic, and Cream is there for Blaze, and maybe they are able to like help you before you hit obstacles. That's my idea for something else. But anyway, I want to talk about the impact, right? We only have 1 minute. The impact of this game is obviously huge, right? Blaze is super popular. The boost formula this is where it started, right? You can say a little bit Sonic Advance 2, but this is the boost formula, and you know that had impact because we're still playing games that are basically the boost formula. I know in Frontiers you can't boost through enemies, but, you know, cyberspace is basically what Unleashed started, but more refined. I know that that's a can of worms. However, I also want to talk about the character movement. I know that a lot of people criticize the Sonic Rush engine, especially in the Sonic 4 era, for being able to stand on the wall, but it works for the boost formula, right? You're not doing momentum-based physics. That's why it changed everything. I miss momentum-based physics, but at the time, Sonic Rush was really, really exciting, and it's always nice to revisit. However, I think it's time to move on. I might have to make a sequel on this one. Okay, see you next time. Peace.